Have you ever felt such a powerful connection with someone that, strangely, your first instinct was to pull away? As if something inside you warned you of danger, even though this could be one of the most meaningful encounters of your life. Perhaps you met this person and instantly sensed they could change you in ways you didn't even realize you needed. And maybe, because of that very realization, you chose to step back. There's a clear difference between meeting someone who simply makes you feel good and meeting someone who pushes you to grow. Carl Jung explained that certain encounters don't come to comfort us, but to confront us with the parts of ourselves we tend to hide. And when that happens, our first response isn't acceptance, it's resistance. We reject it. We run from what our soul truly needs, because it's exactly what our ego fears the most. In this video, you'll learn what happens in your body, your mind, and your spirit when you deny this kind of connection. More importantly, you'll understand what happens when you reject your twin flame. If you ignore this, you may spend your life wondering, what if? But if you stay until the end, you'll realize that even the pain of separation serves a deeper purpose in your spiritual growth. For Jung, the idea of soulmates or twin flames wasn't only romantic. It was deeply psychological and spiritual. He believed that certain people enter our lives as catalysts for what he called individuation, the process of becoming who we truly are. But here's what many people misunderstand. Your twin flame isn't always the person you'll end up with forever. It's the person who triggers the most intense process of self-knowledge and inner transformation you can experience. Jung also spoke about the anima and animus, the inner masculine and feminine aspects within each of us. When you meet your twin flame, you're not just meeting another individual. You're encountering a reflection of your own soul, an external projection of what you need to integrate within yourself. That's why this kind of connection can feel so unsettling. It's not just attraction, it's recognition. You look at this person and feel a familiarity that goes beyond anything you've shared in this lifetime. It's as if your soul is quietly saying, "I've known you forever." But this recognition also brings a difficult realization. This person has the ability to reveal who you truly are, and we're not always ready to face that truth. Jung observed that the soul often knows things the conscious mind has not yet accepted. When you meet your twin flame, something deep within you understands that this connection will require you to let go of false identities, face fears you've avoided, and grow in ways that may hurt before they set you free. And this is where the inner conflict begins. Chapter 2. Fear of extreme vulnerability. Your soul longs for this connection, but your ego reacts with fear. The ego seeks stability, control, and safety. And there is nothing predictable about loving someone who has the power to completely transform you. A twin flame connection isn't easy love. It's the kind of love that demands growth. And growth often comes with discomfort because it requires leaving behind who you thought you were. So why do we reject something our soul deeply desires? The answer lies in the tension between our deepest instincts and our most basic defense mechanisms. The first reason is the fear of extreme vulnerability. With your twin flame, there's no room for masks. Jung described the persona as the version of ourselves we present to the world. But in the presence of your twin flame, that persona fades away. You feel fully exposed, emotionally and spiritually. This level of openness can feel overwhelming, especially for someone who has spent years protecting themselves through control, emotional distance, or by pretending to be someone they're not. When there's nowhere to hide, running away can seem like the only option. The second reason is what Jung called resistance to the shadow. Everyone carries a shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny or suppress. Your twin flame has a unique ability to activate that shadow, forcing you to face aspects of yourself you would rather avoid. You may see yourself as calm and controlled, but this connection awakens emotions you didn't know you had. Or you may take pride in your independence, only to discover a deep need for closeness that challenges your self-image. When the shadow emerges, it brings discomfort, because it shows you that you're not exactly who you believed you were. Another factor is the fear of timing. Often we meet our twin flame when we're not ready, during complicated life phases, existing relationships, or before we've developed the emotional maturity needed for such a bond. Jung understood that the unconscious follows its own timeline, which doesn't always match our conscious plans. Choose Chapter 3. Fear of wrong timing. Your soul may be ready, but your life circumstances may not be. This creates the urge to delay, to wait for the right moment, a moment that may never arrive. Another reason is the fear of intensity. A twin flame connection is unlike anything else. It's more than love. It feels like a merging on a deeper level. It's more than attraction. It feels magnetic. This intensity can become so overwhelming that denying it feels easier than learning how to handle it. And then there's the deepest fear of all, the fear of losing yourself. There's a difference between transforming through love and losing your identity within it, and we don't always know which one we're facing. All of these fears are real and understandable, because the truth is, a true connection like this will change you in ways that cannot be undone. The real question is whether you're ready to become who you truly are. When you reject your twin flame, you're not just rejecting another person, you're rejecting a part of yourself. And as Jung suggested, the universe rarely lets that happen without consequences. One of the first consequences is what we might call emotional phantom pain. Just as someone who loses a limb can still feel sensations where it once was, rejecting your twin flame can leave a lingering sense of absence. It's a quiet, persistent feeling that something is missing. This can show up in subtle ways. You may find yourself thinking about this person unexpectedly, not always with longing, but with a sense that something remains unresolved. You might dream about them often, waking up with the feeling that something important happened, even if you can't fully explain it. Jung might describe this through the idea of psychic energy. When a deep connection is formed and then suddenly cut off, that energy doesn't disappear, it stays within you. Chapter 4. Symptoms of rejection. And it has to express itself somehow. It may appear as unexplained anxiety, restlessness, or a constant feeling that something in your life is incomplete. On a physical level, this kind of rejection can even lead to symptoms that are difficult to explain. Chest discomfort without a medical cause, ongoing fatigue, or trouble sleeping. The body, which Jung saw as closely connected to the mind, responds to this inner disruption. Some people experience what feels like a divided self, a sense that a part of them is still connected to someone they chose to leave behind. It's not about dependence. It's about feeling internally split. On a mental level, rejection can create patterns that seem to operate on their own. You may find yourself comparing everyone to that person, or avoiding deep connections altogether, as if something inside you is holding space for what you lost. There's also the experience of recurring synchronicities. Jung believed that when we ignore something important to the unconscious, it continues to appear in meaningful ways. You might notice their name repeatedly, hear songs that remind you of them, or encounter moments that feel like signs pointing back to that connection. But the most profound effect is often spiritual. Rejecting your twin flame can feel like stepping away from your own path of growth. You may begin to feel stuck, disconnected, or less inspired by the things that once gave you meaning. Old patterns may return more strongly. Fears you avoided may appear in other areas of your life. What you resist has a way of coming back, often in more challenging forms. But Jung also emphasized that no form of suffering is without purpose on the path of individuation. The pain of rejection carries within it the potential for transformation. The separation from your twin flame is not just loss, it's part of a deeper process. Jung saw certain types of pain as a kind of inner fire, burning away what is not essential and revealing what truly matters. The first stage of this transformation is what he called nigredo, a phase of breakdown and dissolution, where everything you believed about love begins to change. About yourself, about what is truly possible between two people, begins to break down. You may feel disoriented, uncertain, questioning everything you once believed. This dissolution, as uncomfortable as it is, serves a purpose. It is like breaking a container so that what is inside can grow beyond its previous limits. During the nigredo phase of separation, you are pushed to face your deepest fears about intimacy, vulnerability, and transformation. Without your twin flame present to attribute the intensity to, you are required to take responsibility for your own ability to love deeply. You begin to see that the intensity was always within you. The second stage is albedo, purification. After everything has collapsed, you start rebuilding your identity based on who you truly are, rather than who you believed you should be. The pain of separation reveals your inner strength. You realize that you can feel deeply and still continue. You can break apart and rebuild yourself. You can love fully even when that love is not returned in the way you expected. This stage often brings a clearer understanding of unconditional love. Chapter 5. Integration. When you cannot have your twin flame, you are guided to learn a form of love that does not depend on physical closeness or certainty of return. You learn to appreciate someone's essence without needing access to them. The third stage is rubedo, integration. Here, the pain of separation evolves into insight. You come to understand that the meeting with your twin flame, even if brief, already fulfilled its deeper purpose, awakening within you the capacity for love, intensity, and authenticity that you did not know existed. Separation shows you that the true value was not in the person alone, but in what they activated within you. The external bond acted as a trigger for an inner reconnection that was waiting to happen. Your twin flame functioned as a mirror, revealing aspects of yourself that needed to be acknowledged and integrated. During this process, many individuals report experiences that Jung described as the transcendent function, moments when opposing forces come together into a higher level of understanding. You may feel gratitude for the encounter while also feeling at peace with the separation. You can love someone deeply without them being present in your life and still feel whole. This experience also clarifies the difference between attachment and genuine love. Attachment seeks control, certainty, and possession. True love exists independently of presence or response. When you learn to love your twin flame without needing to possess them, you develop a broader and more mature capacity for love that extends into all your relationships. Jung noted that sometimes we must lose something to truly understand its value, not its outward importance, but its role in our internal development. The loss of a twin flame can teach more about love than many relationships that appear successful but lack depth. There is also the aspect of generational healing. When you learn to process such an intense connection with awareness, you begin to break patterns that may have existed across generations. You learn to connect without losing yourself, to be open without becoming dependent. Chapter 6. Generational Healing. At this point, a significant shift occurs. The person who emerges from this inner process is not the same as before. You become someone capable of recognizing authentic connections, building real intimacy, and loving from a place of completeness rather than need. The pain of rejecting your twin flame is not the conclusion. It is part of the process that prepares you for a level of love you were not previously able to sustain. Even when you consciously choose distance, the connection often continues in subtle ways. Jung believed that certain bonds go beyond conscious decisions, functioning at deeper levels of the psyche. One sign is the persistence of synchronicities. Even long after separation, you may notice meaningful coincidences that remind you of this person. Jung did not consider these coincidences random, but indications that something meaningful is still active within the unconscious. It could be hearing a song at the exact moment you think of them, finding objects that bring them to mind, or hearing comments from strangers that unexpectedly relate to your situation. These moments suggest that the connection has not ended, but shifted form. Another sign is what Jung referred to as compensatory dreams. When something important is rejected consciously, the unconscious often responds through dreams. You may dream about your twin flame repeatedly, but these dreams are not simply emotional. They carry symbolic meaning. You may see yourselves in ordinary situations, talking or simply being present together, or in symbolic scenarios where you are working through challenges. Jung would interpret these dreams as signs that the connection continues at a deeper, archetypal level, regardless of physical separation. Some people also report subtle telepathic impressions, moments when they sense the other person's thoughts or emotional state. Jung remained open to such possibilities, particularly in strong psychological connections. There is also the idea of parallel development. Even while apart, you and your twin flame may experience similar growth paths. You may develop interest in the same ideas, go through similar personal changes, or reach similar insights about life. It can feel as though you continue to influence each other from a distance. Some describe a quiet sense of presence, as if a part of the other person remains with them, offering support during challenges or a sense of calm during important moments. This presence is not overwhelming or obsessive, but steady and grounding. Jung would relate this to the concept of the collective unconscious. When two individuals connect at a deep level, they may share a psychological space that goes beyond physical boundaries. Physical separation does not necessarily dissolve that deeper connection. You may also notice changes in how you relate to others. After experiencing such depth, you become more aware of authenticity in relationships. You may feel less drawn to superficial connections, while becoming more capable of building meaningful ones. Many people observe that while the number of relationships may decrease, their quality improves. You begin to value connections that genuinely support your growth, rather than simply fill time. There is also a process of unconscious preparation. Even while choosing distance, you may find yourself making changes that would support a future reunion, working on personal patterns, focusing on growth, or creating space for something more meaningful. Interestingly, these signs often become stronger during periods of transition. During major life changes or personal growth, the connection may act as a form of inner guidance, helping you move through transformation. The deeper understanding Jung offers is that some connections move beyond ego and external circumstances. Even when distance is chosen, the bond at the level of the soul continues to influence growth and shape future possibilities that the conscious mind cannot yet fully see. Over time, the journey through the pain of rejecting a twin flame can lead to a state of acceptance, not only acceptance of the separation, but also of the purpose behind the entire experience. Jung explained that individuation, the process of becoming who we truly are, often requires experiences that initially feel like loss, but later reveal themselves as necessary for growth. Chapter 7. Healing. The first step in healing is what Jung described as shadow integration. It means recognizing that rejecting the connection was not a failure, but the most honest decision you could make at that time. Perhaps you were not ready for the level of change it required. Perhaps there were lessons you needed to face on your own before being able to sustain such a connection. This understanding removes the guilt and self-judgment that can keep you stuck in cycles of pain. When you stop criticizing your past choice, you create space to understand its deeper meaning. In some cases, stepping away from a twin flame can be an act of self-respect, a recognition that you had not yet developed the capacity to hold something so significant. The second step is recognizing the growth that emerged through the pain. Jung consistently emphasized that no suffering is without purpose in the development of the self. The pain of separation pushed you to develop emotional and spiritual strength you might never have built if the connection had been easy. You learned about your own resilience. You discovered that you can feel deeply and still continue forward. You gained an understanding of love that goes beyond need or possession. You developed the ability to be alone without feeling lonely. All of these are valuable outcomes that arise through the process of conscious suffering. The third step is practicing radical forgiveness. This is not only about forgiving your twin flame for any pain they may have caused, but also forgiving life for not allowing the connection to unfold the way you expected. Jung understood that resentment toward fate is a subtle form of resistance to inner growth. Forgiveness, from his perspective, is not about ignoring or minimizing pain, but about integrating the experience as a meaningful part of your individuation journey. It means recognizing that everything that happened and everything that didn't played a role in shaping who you are today. The fourth step is developing gratitude for the entire experience, including the difficult parts. Jung observed that our deepest wounds often become our greatest sources of wisdom and compassion. The pain of rejecting your twin flame can give you a deeper understanding of human struggle, allowing you to support others through their own challenges. There is also the realization that the connection fulfilled its purpose, even if it was rejected. The encounter activated parts of you that might have remained dormant without it. It awakened emotional and spiritual depth that is now a lasting part of your identity. Jung referred to opus contra naturam, the work against our natural instincts, as necessary for transformation. Sometimes resisting the impulse to merge with your twin flame is exactly what your soul needs in order to grow in unexpected ways. Complete healing often involves a fundamental shift in how you view love. You stop seeing love as something to hold on to or control, and begin to experience it as a force that moves through you, independent of physical closeness or reciprocation. Chapter 8. Transcendent function. You begin to develop the ability to love without conditions, without expectations or the need for return. This shift is deeply freeing. When you no longer feel the need to possess the person you love, you can experience that love in a more genuine and open way. You can wish well for your twin flame, even if their path does not include you. You can feel appreciation for the connection, even if it didn't unfold as you had hoped. The final stage of healing is what Jung called the transcendent function, the ability to hold opposing emotions without needing to resolve them. You can love your twin flame and still feel at peace with the separation. You can experience longing and gratitude at the same time. You can hope for reconnection while fully accepting your current reality. This ability to hold contradictions reflects a high level of emotional and spiritual maturity. It is the difference between finding peace despite your circumstances and finding peace through them. At this stage, something unexpected can occur. When you reach a place of genuine acceptance and inner balance, you may realize that life has possibilities beyond what you once imagined. The journey through the pain of rejecting your twin flame, when approached consciously, prepares you for experiences that you were not previously ready to sustain. Jung understood that some connections can only fully unfold after both individuals have completed certain stages of inner development. What seemed like rejection may have actually been timing. Both of you may have needed to go through personal growth before being ready for the depth of that connection. The period of separation may have been necessary for each of you to become capable of nurturing something meaningful. During this time, both you and your twin flame continue evolving individually. The same fears that caused you to withdraw may have been present in their life in different ways. The separation may have initiated growth and healing for both of you. When two people reconnect after completing their individual development, the nature of the relationship changes. It is no longer driven by need or incompleteness, but by mutual wholeness. It becomes a conscious choice rather than a search for fulfillment. Jung observed that genuine relationships can only form between individuals who have engaged in their own process of individuation. Without this, people often connect through projections, falling in love with an idea rather than the reality of the other person. A mature reconnection carries distinct qualities: less conflict and more calm, less dependency and more awareness, less fear and more trust in the connection itself. You meet not as individuals seeking completion, but as whole individuals choosing to build something meaningful together. This reconnection may also take unexpected forms. It may not result in a traditional romantic relationship, but could evolve into a creative or spiritual partnership with a broader purpose. Jung recognized that not all deep connections are meant to express themselves romantically. Some exist to serve higher creative or spiritual aims. Even if a physical reunion never happens, the inner work you've done prepares you for meaningful relationships with others. You gain the ability to recognize and nurture genuine intimacy in all areas of your life. Jung emphasized that the goal of individuation is not to find the perfect person, but to become a complete individual. When you complete the inner transformation initiated by your twin flame experience, you naturally attract relationships that align with who you have become. The most important truth is that this connection, even if brief, has already planted lasting seeds of transformation within you. You will not return to who you were before that encounter, and that transformation is the real gift, regardless of how the external relationship unfolds. In the end, your twin flame was not meant to be possessed, but understood. They did not come to fill a void, but to awaken a sense of completeness that already existed within you. Once that awakening occurs, you carry within you the ability to love and be loved in ways that go beyond ordinary limits. Rejecting your twin flame was not the conclusion. It was the beginning of a deeper journey back to yourself. If you've reached this point, it likely means something in this message resonated with you. You may be experiencing the pain of separation now. You may be reflecting on past choices, Or you may be starting to see that everything that happened and didn't happen was part of a larger process of growth. Carl Jung taught that there are no coincidences, only meaningful synchronicities. The fact that you found this message and stayed until the end may itself carry meaning. The pain of rejecting your twin flame is not a punishment. It is an initiation. It is a transformative process that removes what is unnecessary and reveals who you truly are. It is through this process that you become capable not only of receiving love, but of embodying it. Remember, you are not behind in life. You have not missed your opportunity. You have not made the wrong choices. Everything you have experienced has been preparation for who you are becoming. And the person you are becoming is someone capable of loving and being loved in ways that once seemed beyond reach. The inner work you do to heal is meaningful. Every moment of acceptance, every act of forgiveness, every decision to grow rather than avoid discomfort brings you closer to your authentic self. When you align with who you truly are, life begins to respond in unexpected ways. Perhaps your twin flame will return when the time is right. Perhaps new forms of love will enter your life. Or perhaps you will discover that the most important relationship has always been the one you have with yourself. Jung believed that the path of individuation is deeply personal, but never isolating. At a deeper level, all individuals are connected. Your healing contributes to a larger collective healing. Your growth influences others, and your willingness to face pain can inspire those around you. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts. Acknowledge the connection. And if you want to continue exploring the deeper aspects of the human experience, stay connected. Each step forward is part of a larger journey inward, guided by the understanding that challenges are often the doorway to growth. The journey continues. Your twin flame, whether physically present or not, Shakti has already fulfilled their most important role, awakening within you the ability to love without limits, including loving yourself fully. And that is the kind of love that has the power to transform everything. See you in the next video, where we continue exploring the deeper layers of the human experience.